The story of God's General Daniel Nash. In the early 1800s, when the fires of revival began to sweep through America, one man chose to remain in the shadows, unseen by multitudes, but known in the courts of heaven. Daniel Nash, often called Father Nash. Daniel Nash was not a man of great fame or eloquence. He was not a preacher of fiery sermons to the masses. Instead, his battlefield was hidden rooms, cold barns, and secret chambers where his voice thundered not to men, but to God. Once a pastor, Nash's ministry seemed ordinary until he discovered a higher calling: intercession for revival. After an illness left him weakened and unable to continue regular pastoral work, he pressed deeper into prayer. He began to understand that the greatest revivals are born and sustained, not only by preachers but by unseen men and women groaning in secret before God. In 1826, Daniel Nash joined forces with evangelist Charles G. Finney, one of the greatest revivalists in American history. While Finney preached, Nash prayed. Whenever Finney was invited to hold meetings in a city, Nash would quietly arrive weeks earlier with a few intercessors. They would find a small room, sometimes a damp cellar or an empty attic, and spend days, sometimes entire nights, lying prostrate before God, crying out for the outpouring of the Spirit. People often reported hearing groans of travail, as though a woman in labor. From the places where Nash prayed, his soul wrestled with God until heaven touched earth. Finney later confessed, "When I found Father Nash was praying, I felt secure. I knew no power of darkness could hinder the revival." Whenever Nash travailed in prayer, something shifted. Hardened sinners wept. Whole cities were shaken. In some meetings, people miles away suddenly felt the weight of conviction and came running to the church to be saved. It became clear. Finney preached, but Nash plowed the spiritual ground. Without Nash's intercession, Finney said, the revivals would have had little effect. Unlike many revivalists who gained fame, Nash never sought the spotlight. While Finney stood in pulpits, Nash stayed locked in prayer. He often didn't even attend the meetings he prayed for. His desire was not recognition, but that Christ be glorified. He once wrote, "I am now convinced that it is the duty of the watchmen of Zion to travail in prayer, as if they themselves were to bring forth the great revival." At the age of 56, on December 20th, 1831, Daniel Nash quietly passed into eternity. His grave is a simple stone in a small graveyard in Verona, New York, beside the church where he once pastored. On his tombstone are the words, "Laborer with Finney, mighty in prayer." Finney continued revival campaigns, but after Nash's death,